accountable. I say Yah accountable. We have to, hallelujah, be Yah accountable. Accountable to Him who created us. We have an obligation to our Father, our Abba. Hallelujah. So the confusion that comes in is a replacement of about 3,000 times taking His name out, His true name, Yahuwah, out and inserting God. And then about another 4,000 times approximately, they took His name out, Yahuwah, and they replaced it with the Lord. The Lord, which anybody with any common sense could simply take Lord equals Baal or Baal equals Lord. They could type it into Google and do a search, and you'll find hundreds of articles that will verify, and you'll see the blasphemous. You'll see the dude with the horns, the evil-looking Baal. That's the picture that'll show up on your computer screen. I'm not telling you something that's like secret. In fact, if you want to get the truth on how evil the Catholic Church is, I've been telling people this for years. Just start reading the Catholic Encyclopedia. They tell on themselves. They tell very clearly how they changed things because the popes thought they had the right to change it. And I'm sorry for all you Christians out there, but you come from Catholicism. You don't come from the Hebrew Yahuwah. You don't. You don't come from the Messiah, the true Mashiach, Yahushua HaMashiach. You don't come from Him. You come from the Catholic Jesus or Jesus Christos. He's the bad guy. Same trick with God, same trick with the Messiah. What do you think all that stuff is about talking about a false Messiah or an Antichrist? What do you think that's all about? Who do you think they're talking about? Now, Christians, they've got their narrative on it of who they think the anti-Messiah is. They call him they say it's the Pope. Oh, no, they came up with a better one than the Pope. They came up with Jesus Christ Superstar, man. And they tricked the whole world with their religion. He's the leader of religion. And what we're doing in this is we're getting you to understand that when you realize and confirm for yourself, yes, prophetically, this is where we are today. He's pouring out His Ruach upon all flesh, just like was prophesied in the book of Acts, and that was a prophetic fulfillment of what would happen then in the upper room, and about 3,000 souls that first day, and that would continue, it says, at the end, it says, to the uttermost parts of the earth. So the message that's been taken to the uttermost parts of the earth at this point is not the message of Yahushua HaMashiach. The message that's been taken to the uttermost parts of the earth is Jesus Christ. And it's a different message than what the original scriptures have. So counterfeit Christianity, religion, has deceived the whole world just like the scriptures tell us it's going to do. And there's a lot of people that need to hear this message, and it's unpopular. I'm not gonna fill a mega church with this message. Oh no, this is gonna freak people out. But He's pouring out this perfect language as He's pouring out His Ruach, as He's breathing it out. His wind is blowing. He's breathing out this message through the perfect language to confirm for us that when the scriptures were altered, when they were changed by the Greeks, and they tried to say that the Greeks wrote the Yeshuic covenant, or the new, as they call it, covenant, which that storyline you can punch holes in with any amount of research too. Within a couple of hours, you can figure it out for yourself that that's a lie. I mean, common sense would tell you that how would a bunch of Aramaic-speaking men, including the Mashiach himself, the Messiah himself, how would a bunch of Aramaic men, why would they have wrote the scriptures in Greek? It's arrogant by the Greeks to even put something like that out there, but that's how they were. Alexander the Great, yeah, arrogant people. Helen of Troy, two of the most evil people. They were the Hitlers of their time. And their job was to kill the Hebrew or the Ibrahim people and wipe them off the planet. They were the most racist leadership that you could imagine. They made Nebuchadnezzar look like a little church boy, you know? But that whole Alexander the Great thing gets wiped out because we're going to remove 400 years of history by taking that book out of there too. Let's just get rid of the Maccabees books, and let's not talk about Yehuda Maccabee, because then people will really be confused, and they'll miss this part of history of what happened right before the Messiah came. And then they won't understand Hanukkah, or the Feast of Dedication as it would be. They won't even understand any of it. Why? Because of the language and because of the books, because of the text. The core of why Gadrael and his gods and goddesses has got to be the tagline to the book Exposed is because the language is the proof that we have, even with the confirmation of the Dead Sea Scrolls. Why do you think about this? This is really, really like a aha moment that you should have for yourself. Why would the Dead Sea Scrolls show up in our generation, in our century, now? Why would these almost perfect copies of some of these books that they tried to say were false, that they were not accurate, they didn't belong in the canon? No, that book shouldn't have been in there, and that book shouldn't have been in there. And they were going to try to take these books away from us to the point where, I mean, there are Christians, they'll go nuts when you start telling them that you believe outside of 66 books, which should be your first clue, right? 66? The number of man, 66. Yeah. He's gonna put a compilation of books together with 66. Now, if it was 77, it would be much more believable than 66. But no, not the enemy. He is so blunt and blatant in his lying that he just shoves this stuff down our throat, and we go ahead and drink the Kool-Aid and just go right along with it. And it's time that we wake up. It's time that we step up to the plate and start to get in the game here. We got to get in the game. We've got to understand that this game is won by us having knowledge. And that knowledge has to be truth, not lies. And we have to be able to base our thesis on truth. So when we learn that you can't really grasp this truth without having this language that it was originally written in, and he tells us that here in this Zephaniah 3:9 chapter, or this Zephaniah 3 chapter, we can't really even get our heads around it until we see that he's going to bring back this language. He's going to pour a burden on the hearts of the people with the Ruach, that I need to learn this so that I can discern this thing that we've been calling truth, and I can expose for myself. Because Rock can write a book called Exposed, and, Gabriel and his gods and goddesses. I can write this book. But until you see it for yourself, it doesn't mean anything. Oh, so what? So Rock got a revelation. Big deal. What's super cool is I'm not the only one getting these revelations. Other people, when they look at the evidence and they look at it closely and they see, oh, wow, he's right. Right here. Here's all the documentation about bless or blessing. This is a false god. And I'll tell you, it's been quite the job to try to get the music to remove, even with James Block from Yisrael. I mean, he excessively sings glory, and we're going to get into, how we've been deceived by Gloria, the goddess, because she's like all over the place in the music, and we worship this goddess in ignorance. Every time that we're supposed to be worshiping Abba Yah, all of a sudden this Gloria jumps in there, and it's like, well, it kind of wrecks things a little bit if you think about it. Wow. I mean, try singing and saying, even if it's not his name, and it's not, instead of singing, where it should be Abba Yah or Yahweh or, Yeshua, just try replacing that for a little bit in your mind with Baal. Or try replacing it with Satan. When you're singing, you're worshiping, oh, I love you, I love you. What are you going to do? You're going to say, I love you, Satan, in your song? I love you, Baal, in your song? And if you understand what I'm teaching here, that's exactly what you are saying, ignorantly singing these deceptions within language to sing something that we really don't even understand what the heck we're singing. To say something or in praise as an act of praise, to say something we don't even understand what we're saying. It's really crazy to even think it. It's just wacky. But that's exactly how wacky religion is it just totally takes us off into this fairy tale, really. It's a fairy tale. Because there's truth wrapped in there. Don't get me wrong. They didn't throw the whole book out. They just changed a word here and a word there and a word here and a word there, and it's mixing up everything. And that's what made Abba Yah so angry with Nimrod in the first place, because King Nimrod actually
Emily, it's
created
time for
100 false
Blitzer.
gods.
I'm waiting for you on Blitzer, Emily. Shut it down. Time for Blitzer. Show's over. Blitzer time. Blitzer, Blitzer, Blitzer. Everybody on YouTube, get on Blitzer. Tim, get on Blitzer. It's the Blitzer Blitz.
Thank you for wrecking the recording cart.
You are very welcome. Thanks for being defiant. And we'll tell everybody on YouTube, Emily Gulmer has been defiant.
Well, I